Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Coaster News. And as always, we've got some amazing news from different theme parks, rides, attractions and events all over the world. So let's get straight into the news today. Our top story for tonight, Universal Studios Hollywood have announced that they will be building a brand new Intamin Blitz coaster themed to the Fast and Furious films. And obviously this has been rumoured for quite some time over the past few weeks. There are even some leaked documents for this attraction. But if you know what I'm talking about, basically Universal Studios Hollywood is obviously a theme park located in Los Angeles, California. It's currently home to two roller coasters, Revenge of the Mummy and I believe Flight of the Hippogriff, which are both relatively small coasters in terms of scale. And this brand new Intamin Blitz will be their third one, and it looks to be the largest coaster in the park. Now obviously, as the leaks suggest, and obviously as the park confirmed the other day, this new ride is going to be themed to the Fast and Furious film franchise, which recently just got its 11th film, Fast 10. So this announcement was kind of sort of timed really good with the release of the film. But obviously, this brand new attraction, it looks to be absolutely fantastic. Obviously, as we saw by the leaked documents from before this announcement a few days ago, it was leaked to be an Intamin Blitz coaster. So like Velocicoaster at Universal Orlando, the sister park, but instead of being to Fast and Furious, it's going to be a triple launch coaster, I believe. It's going to be built on the side of a hill in the park. I believe it's going to have multiple different elements on the ride, including dive loops and corkscrews, things like that. And the weird thing I've heard also is that it's going to have spinning cars, which obviously is quite strange to think because it's Intamin that's said to be building this, and they don't usually do like sort of spinning cars on their Blitz coasters. The only company that does spinning cars on launch coasters is Mack with their obviously extreme spinning coasters. But no, that's not what it's going to be. This is going to be an extreme. This is going to be an Intamin Blitz coaster. Now, obviously, we don't know. I don't think this is confirmed. Although there was some, I think there was some concept art released. I'm not sure if it was official concept art or if it was leaked. But on the concept art, it showed like a backwards beyond vertical spike. Because obviously, this is going to have one of those multi-pass launches as well. Which showed the cars spinning up the beyond vertical spike. So whether it does have spinning cars, that would actually be kind of cool as well, because it could simulate drifting as obviously cars drifting. Because obviously this attraction is rumored to be called Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift. It's quite fitting because obviously located at Universal Studios Hollywood. But it is rumored to open in 2025 alongside Fast 11. It's going to be the largest coaster in the park upon opening, and I cannot wait for this brand new Fast and Furious roller coaster to officially open within the next few years. In other news today, the cracked support column on Fury 325 at Carowinds has now been replaced. And this honestly went by really quickly. But obviously, if you saw last week's Coaster News update, you know that I spoke about the one of the support columns on Fury 325, which is a B&M Giga coaster located at Carowinds in North and South Carolina, technically. Basically, there were a lot of basically as soon as a guest spotted that there was this crack in the ride, they reported it to the park guest services, and then they closed the attraction as soon as it was reported. It's been closed since, obviously, and obviously, over the last sort of few weeks, they've been inspecting the attraction, see if any of the support columns had this sort of problem. Apparently, it's to do with like a welding issue in that particular support column. And obviously, they've released a statement saying that they're going to take that entire support column out, hold the track section up with a crane whilst it's being replaced, and obviously going to work with B&M to build a new support column for it and just install it in. And they said it was going to be installed by then next week, so basically this week. And obviously they've installed it. There's even pictures of it online with a new support column, which is obviously going to need to be painted to match with the rest of the racks. Currently, the new support column that was added is currently greyish, sort of silver. It's going to be painted white, obviously. And that went by really quickly. You don't really get sort of things like that in this country. Obviously, we've never had roller coaster in the UK with cracked support columns, but if we did, I don't think we'd get a support column like that installed that quickly. Although I guess Carowinds kind of has the advantage because even though B&M is a Swiss company, their factory where they makes track and supports for all their rides are basically based in America. So, and obviously, which is in the same country as Carowinds, so they can literally easily just get it delivered within only a few days. Basically, like a drive or something from the factory to Carowinds. Whereas in the UK, there's no roller coaster manufacturers that have factories based in this country. So if that happened, it would take probably quite a few weeks to get a new support column installed. But obviously, it's been installed, the new support for Thrill 325. They're going to start testing it, obviously, I think within the next few days. Obviously, they're going to spend quite a while testing it. They're going to go through the same sort of testing method as they do as if it was a brand new roller coaster. They're going to test it like 500 times before having a final inspection to see, with being alongside B&M and the park managers, and obviously the state of North Carolina, to see if it's actually safe to operate. And once that's done, the ride will officially reopen. And this is such good news for Thrill 325. I'm glad they managed to fix it, and I can't wait to hopefully see if it reopens, hopefully later this season. I imagine it will, and we'll have to wait and see. Also in the news today, Drayton Manor have officially confirmed that Intamin will be working alongside them to build a brand new roller coaster for 2024. And this was kind of rumoured ever since January when this was officially announced. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically Drayton Manor is a theme park located in Staffordshire, England. It's not far from Alton Towers, actually. It's kind of the rival parks to Alton Towers. Because they're both located quite near to each other. They're both located in Staffordshire. And obviously, Drayton Manor, before 2020, they were struggling quite a lot with... so obviously, this all started way back in 2017, where there was that tragic accident on the Rapids ride. That was closed after that accident, and then G-Force was closed shortly after. Because I think on the same day that stopped at the top of the lift hill, and obviously we all know the lift hill on G-Force went upside down. So that wasn't good. It was really bad for the park. They closed the Rapids ride for about 5 years, or 3 years, sorry, 4 or 5 years. They closed G-Force permanently. They demolished it in 2019. And since after that, the Drayton Manor had loads of bad luck. They had a flooding. There was a fire at one point, both during the close season of COVID, obviously. And then at one point they announced they were going into administration. But then, all hope was not lost, as the Looping Group actually swept in and purchased Drayton Manor. And this is the same company that owns Pleasurewood Hills, by the way. They announced that they want to make Drayton Manor their flagship park, which just sounded really promising. And they kept that promise. 2021, they added Adventure Cove, which was a refurbished themed land containing, I think, quite a few different attractions. They refurbished Shockwave. They reopened the Rapids ride and also refurbished Maelstrom as well. And they built a brand new ride called Wave Swinger. 2022, so last year, they opened a brand new Vikings area, which is home to 3 brand new attractions, plus a rethemed Buffalo Mountain Coaster. It's now called Jormungandr, including the UK's first Zamperla Nebula, called Loki. This year, they've expanded Thomas Land with a kids' log flume ride. And next year, they're going to be building a brand new family thrill coaster, as it was described by the park owner. This was announced officially in January in an interview, but we didn't know what kind of ride it was going to be other than a family thrill coaster. That was all we had to go off of. But recently they confirmed that it was going to be built by Intamin, and it was still on track to open next year. Now it's rumoured to be a family launch coaster, similar to something like Arctic Rescue at SeaWorld San Diego, or Dark Coaster at Busch Gardens. And if it is, then I cannot wait to see what this brand new roller coaster is for Drayton Manor. It's their first one in many years, and I cannot wait to see what it looks like when it opens. And finally in the news today, the new track for Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point is now being installed. And this is kind of we're entering the phase where it's sort of the moment of truth reveal of whether the rumour will come true for this ride. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically Top Thrill Dragster is a Intamin hydraulic launch coaster located at Cedar Point in Ohio, USA. It originally opened in 2003, and upon opening it became the tallest and fastest roller coaster in the world. It's 420 foot tall, and it reaches a top speed of 120 miles an hour. Obviously those records were taken from it over the years. When it last operated, it was known as the second tallest roller coaster in the world and the third fastest in the world, which is still pretty impressive. And an impressive title for this park to hold because it's got one of the tallest in the world. But in 2021, an incident occurred on the attraction which basically caused it to be closed for the rest of the season. It was closed all of last season as well, until I think towards the end of last season they made a statement saying that Top Thrill Dragster is officially retiring as we know it, and they said they're working on a brand new experience to enhance the ride for visitors. Now, we didn't know what this meant, but obviously it meant that there were going to be some drastic changes to this ride. And then obviously over the coming months there were leaked documents suggesting that they're going to completely modify the attraction, modernise it basically, give it a switch track, and also a massive beyond vertical twisted spike, which was rumoured to be over 500 foot tall, I think, which would obviously make it the world's tallest roller coaster again. And these rumours sounded way too good to be true, like seriously. Obviously all those years before this, before the Wild Mouse was built, there were rumours that Cedar Point were going to get the world's tallest roller coaster after Steel Vengeance. The CEO even said a few years ago that the next roller coaster would top Steel Vengeance. Obviously the most recent roller coaster was the Wild Mouse, which is a Zamperla spinning Wild Mouse attraction. That does not anywhere near top Steel Vengeance. Because Steel Vengeance is a massive RMC hybrid coaster. But obviously, over the last few weeks, new track and supports have arrived for Top Thrill Dragster, which even backs the rumour even further that it was going to be a beyond vertical spike installed. A lot of the track sections for the ride, other than the top hat, were removed, and now they've started placing those again, with a brand new colour scheme, might add. The colour scheme is very similar to that of Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. And now that the new track is being installed, we are waiting to see if this truly will become the world's tallest and fastest roller coaster again, if they build the new twisted vertical spike for Top Thrill Dragster. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, that is it for this week's episode of Coaster News. I hope you've enjoyed, and if you did, then please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment whether you'd like to see in the next video. Bye!